Last class.
Due to network issue, we were unable to continue yesterday, so we complete that part. I'll revise it for you. Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So, what about phylum Porifera?
It is a cell level organization. Sponges are there.
Cellular level of organization, right?
Uh-huh.
Please take out your NCERT textbook.
Yeah, I'm keeping it.
Phylum Porifera, correct?
Yes.
So, this is a typical structure of an animal belongs to phylum Porifera. They have minute pore-like openings, which is known as ostia. Major opening, which is known as osculum,
Osticulum.
right? And
Yes.
they are lined by typical cells known as conocyte conodum. These are specialized cells due to presence of flagella, correct? So
Yes,
they
ma'am.
have central cavity, which is known as spongiocyl. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as we discussed, they are sessile in nature. We are talking about habit and habitat. They
Hmm.
are mostly marine. Be careful with the statement, mostly marine. Few are fresh water. So the typical example for fresh water is spongilla. Is it clear? Talking
Yes, ma'am.
about level of organization. So they are basically cellular in nature because they are the first phylum. So only group of cell are present. Group of cell aggregate together. They do not form tissue. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next. What about coelom? So they are acoelomate. What is acoelom? Offline student, please answer. Body cavity is absent. What is coelom? Body cavity lined by mesoderm. Okay. Next. What about body plan? So as you know, they are only group of cell. So cellular aggregation. But the group of cell never form tissue. Next. Symmetry. What about their symmetry? Mostly asymmetrical. Major opening is known as osculum. Minute opening is known as cavity is
Osculum.
known as spongiocell. Endoskeleton is made up of spicules or correct spicules or spongin fiber. Another important point. What about the digestive system? And what about the digestion? Digestive system absent, but the digestion is intracellular. Digestion occur due to presence of which type of cell?
Collar cells.
Conocyte, which is also known as collar cells. If out of box question is there, what about their mode of excretion? So if they are mostly marine, so mode of excretion will be amniotic. What about reproduction? Reproduction. So sexes are not separate. At that time, we use a term hermaphrodite or bisexual, correct? So reproduction is by three different modes. First is asexual. Correct. Second is sexual. And third is
Sexual.
fragmentation. As you already know, fragmentation is a type of asexual reproduction. Correct. Do they show
ma'am.
high power of regeneration? It's a question mark for you people.
Yes.
Porifera shows high power of regeneration. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. What do you mean by fertilization, internal and external, and development, direct and indirect?
Fertilization internal means they are the what the offsprings will be developed inside the body.
Inside the body, and external,
Means they will release the
outside the
premature
body, right?
offspring. Yes.
For example, fishes and frog. Frog shows
Yeah.
external fertilization.
Yes.
So fertilization is internal. Next, development. What do you mean by
Indirect.
indirect development?
Indirect development means they will not have the connection between the adult stage. They will not look like adult stage.
They'll show metamorphosis. What is the difference between direct and indirect development? Indirect, they do not show metamorphosis. In indirect, they show metamorphosis. Example for direct is fishes, reptile, birds, and mammal. Humans show direct development, right? There is no
Yes, ma'am.
different stages. But in case of indirect, they have different stages. Example are invertebrates and amphibia. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Give examples of porifera. Fresh water,
Sponges.
fresh water, spongilla,
Sponge.
spongilla.
Spongilla.
Next example, cycon is also known as. Third one, euspongia. Done. Next phylum. What is the meaning of Coelenterata? What is the meaning of Coelenterata? They have a cavity which is known as coelentron. They are also known as nidaria due to presence of nidoblast cells, right? Okay. So they are mostly marine. Is it correct? Please check once. We are talking about H and H, habit and habitat. Okay. Mostly marine. They are solitary in nature. What do you mean by solitary? What do you mean by sessile? Sessile means cannot move. Solitary means can move. Solitary, they are colonial. Next, they are sessile and free living. Correct. Or free living, right? Or free living. Sorry. Next, level of organization. First level of organization, which is tissue level, right? Is it tissue or organ system? Tissue.
Tissue.
Next, what about germ layer? Germ layer, diploblastic. Next, coelom.
Radical.
They are acoelomate.
Sorry.
Next, what about body plan? Blind sac. What do you mean by blind sac? Blind sac means single opening which act as a mouth and anus. Correct? Next, symmetry. So they are radially symmetrical. What do you mean by radial symmetry? हाँ नहीं करेक्ट किसी भी एंगल से आप कट करो तो इक्वल हाफ में कट करेगा करेक्ट करेक्ट Huh? Next. Segmentation and notochord. Segmentation. They do not have metameric segmentation, right? It's present in which phylum? Annelida. And any other? My question is it present in Arthropoda? Abdominal part of cockroach? Do they show segmentation? So segmentation is absent in Coelenterata, correct? Notochord? Notochord absent. So they have two different types of body form. One is, yes, polyp and medusa. What is polyp? What is medusa? Body form. Polyp, and the other one is medusa. Yes. So polyp is stationary, right? So it means sessile, correct? Medusa is umbrella-like. Yes. Free swimming or free floating, right? It is umbrella-like. Next. So polyp shows asexual reproduction. Is it correct? And medusa, sexual reproduction. What is statocyst? Balancing structure. It is absent in? It is absent in polyp and present in medusa. Next. Example of polyp and example of medusa. Adamsia, sea anemone,
Jellyfish.
and the last one is hydra, right? What about umbrella like? Jellyfish, right? Yes. Next. Digestive system. So they show which type of digestion? Intracellular and intra and extracellular. What about nervous system? But they have nerve ring and nerve cord. Do they have nerve cord? Or nerve net in case of hydra? Hope you remember typical structure of hydra. They have tentacles. So if they want to move this tentacle, they required some structure which will be able to लाइबा क्या करेंगे tentacles? Huh? Help to move again, capture the food again. Offensive and defensive in nature, na? Correct? For that they require stimulus. That's why there is a presence of nerve ring and nerve net. So they have a polar neuron. Please star mark, correlate it with neural control and coordination. A polar neuron. So I'll show you different structure of neuron. There are different types of neuron. Which are the different types of neuron? Different types of neuron. Please see. Hope you can see non-polar, apolar neuron, which is present in hydra. Is it clear? So there are different types of neuron: non-polar, unipolar, bipolar, pseudo-unipolar, and multipolar. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's continue. Next, reproduction.
Sexual and asexual.
Both sexual and asexual. So they are unisexual and bisexual, correct? That's why both the type of reproduction, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. What about fertilization? Both internal and external. Next is development. Both direct and indirect. What is metagenesis? So polyp to medusa is which type of reproduction? Asexual.
Asexual.
Yes. And medusa to polyp is
Sexual.
sexual. Okay. Example for sexual reproduction. Typical example given in NCERT. Obelia. Obelia. Please note down in your book. Polyp exclusively marine. Exclusively marine. Done. What is nidoblast and nematocyst? Please see the diagram in your textbook. Nidoblast and nematocyst. What is nidoblast?
Poison-filled capsule.
That is nematocyst. Poison-filled capsule. Okay, please see the structure. Nidoblast. Structure which is present on tentacle is known as nidoblast or nidocyte. Please be very careful. So in nidoblast, they have an, if you can see, orange yellow color of structure which is known as capsule. The structure is known as nematocyst. Clear? So let's discuss the structure of nidoblast. Typical structure of nidoblast. So structure of nidoblast, it is present on tentacle. And there is a presence of stinging capsule. The stinging capsule is known as a typical structure as nematocyst. Examples of Cylindrita, Ctenophorus. फिर दो ही फाइल पेंडिंग रहेगी ना. Okay, give me examples. One is Aurelia, correct? What about corals? यही ना?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Please check where you have written that polyps are exclusively marine. So the typical example will be corals, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the body is made up of?
Calcium carbonate.
Yes, calcium carbonate. If you have a paper slip, make up points. So it will be very helpful for revision. For each and every topic and chapter. What about MCQs? Examples of Cylindrita. According to NCRT. Huh? Phycelia is also known as Portuguese man of war. Second, Adamsia. Pennatula. Gorgonia sea fan. Please do remember. Madrina brain coral. Okay, let's start with the next phylum, Ctenophora. Ctenophora. Also known as comb jellies. See, if you see your textbook, please mark the points. They have mentioned here. They are exclusively marine. Next, they are also known as sea walnuts, comb jellies. Next, level of organization is tissue level of organization. Symmetry, radially symmetrical,
Radical.
right? Germ layer, diploblastic. One important point, they have external rows of ciliated comb plates, not comb jellies. Comb plates, 18 number. Typical structure is used for locomotion. Digestion, both extra and intracellular. What is bioluminescence?
Light.
Emission of
Light.
light. Sexes are not separate. It means bisexual or hermaphrodite, correct? So reproduction takes place by sexual means. Example, pleurobrachia and tenoplan. What about fertilization? But obvious external. And development is indirect. Make a table for this. Let's start. So floating on surface of water. Next, exclusively marine. What about level of organization? Tissue level of organization. What about coelom? They are acoelomate. No true body cavity. Body plan, blind sac. Segmentation present or absent? Segmentation and notochord absent, correct? External ciliated structure is known as external ciliated structures known as completes. 18 number, correct? A typical characteristic present in phylum Ctenophora, bioluminescence. Correct? Ctenophora is also known as sea walnuts. Digestion. Digestion is incomplete, right? Digestion incomplete. They have both intra and extracellular digestion. Intracellular and extracellular. Clear? Next, Which type of nervous system? Diffuse type. Clear? Clear to each and everyone, online and offline?
Yes, ma'am.
Reproduction is? So they are bisexual or unisexual? They are bisexual. And they reproduce by means of sexual reproduction. Is it clear? So the fertilization will be external. Fertilization, external. Development, indirect. They have a typical structure which is known as statocyst, which act as a balancing organ. And the example are pleurobrachia and tenoplasm. Is it clear? Please mark the important points in your textbook. Then
Done, ma.
Rahina, continue करें?
Yes, ma.
Okay, let's continue. Next phylum, which one? Platyhelminthes. Most important, right? Platyhelminthes, Esculmenthes, and Mollusca. Revise this three phylum on the priority basis. Sorry. Platyhelminthes. They are also known as flatworms. Please check out your textbook. So they are dorsoventrally flattened structure, correct? So first point is dorsoventrally flattened body. That's why they are known as flatworms. Mostly, if you can see, they have mentioned here, mostly they are endoparasite. They are found in animals, including human beings. Please do remember, this is the first phylum in which you can see parasitic animals. Mostly, we are discussing about endoparasitic, which are present inside the body. Symmetry is bilateral. They are triploblastic, means they have three germinal layers. So this is the first phylum in that you can see bilateral symmetry. So please mention here first time or first phylum with bilateral symmetry. Done. Next, they are acoelomate. So in last lecture we discussed different type of organization. Hope you remember. Cellular, tissue level, organ and organ system. Platyhelminthes show organ system level of organization. What is the difference between organ and organ system level of organization?
Organ system means the organs are group of organs work together.
So you want to say they are in coordination?
Yes,
Okay. And what about organ?
just the organ will be work separately. A separate organ will be
Yeah.
work separately.
Yeah. They are not functioning with the coordination. Individually, they are
Yes,
maintaining their role, right?
yes,
So you have to remember 2 points. One is, hope you can say this box. First
yes,
time or first phylum showing bilateral symmetry. Another point is they show organ level of organization. Is it clear?
yes, yes, ma'am.
If we are discussing they are endoparasitic, but obvious they'll have typical type of structures to attach to the host body. For that, they have hooks and sucker. Only present in parasitic form. You're very clear for that. Let's continue. So in last phylum, if you remember in Ctenophora, in physiology, digestion, respiration, reproduction part, so they do not have typically exudatory system or cell, correct? But once you enter into phylum Platyhelminthes, here you can see an specialized cells called as flame cell, also known as protonephridia, help in osmoregulation and excretion. So Platyhelminthes is important for 3 and 4 points. Typical characteristic, one is they are mostly endoparasite. Next is their symmetry. Third point is only organ level of organization is seen in Platyhelminthes. Then a typical cell behaving like an exudatory system is found in Platyhelminthes. So the cell is known as flame cell or protonephridia. Is it clear? Make a star mark to planaria point that planaria possess high regeneration capacity. Rahina, can we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Any point missing from your side?
No, ma'am.
Not discussed?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what about the larval stage? Is it a direct or indirect development?
Indirect?
Yeah, usually indirect, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's not an out of syllabus question. If they have mentioned mini larval stage, means they are asking you about the development. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please note down. Platyhelminthes. Dorsoventrally flattened structure. Next point. Level of organization. Typically, only phylum which have organ level or organ system.
Organ level.
Yes, organ level of organization. Next. What about germ layer? They are triploblastic. Coelom, acoelomate. Body plan. Is it blind sac? Single opening? Symmetry.
Bilateral.
Yeah, first phylum with bilateral symmetry. Next. Segmentation. Segmentation absent. Notochord absent, correct? What about digestion? incomplete.
Yes, ma'am.
So they show extracellular type of digestion. Correct? Respiration. It's through body wall. Do you know diffusion? High concentration to low concentration.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, most important, excretion through flame cells, which is also known as protonephridia. Sorry. Next, nervous system in platyhelminthes. Nervous system is ladder-like in platyhelminthes. What about reproduction? Mostly bisexual. And type of reproduction? Sexual and asexual. Fertilization. Yes, internal. Cytostoma. Fertilization internal. Development. Yes, usually it is indirect. What are the examples of platyhelminthes? Three important examples in our textbook. One is tinea. Correct. Next. Sorry. Tinea. Next is fasciola. Most important characteristic of planaria. True regeneration. Rahina, any doubt, any confusion,
No, ma'am.
any question regarding with the example or characteristic or body character?
No, ma'am.
Please check once. Then I'll share with you the Word document for MCQ practice. Okay? Every chapter 100
Okay.
MCQ.
Okay, ma'am.
I'll inform non-teaching to share the Excel sheet with you,
Okay, ma'am.
which topic will be covered on which day. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Let's continue then.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next file. Offline student. Start करें क्या? फ्लैट एलिमेंट्स हो गया आप सबका? चेक कर लें एक बार. कुछ रहा है क्या देख लो. उत्कर्ष, शर्वरी, जिया, वैष्णवी नहीं, कीर्ति, अनुष्का, लाइबा, तनिष्का. स्टार्टिंग मतलब पौरी तरह. हेलो. ये 4 फाइलों में और ये इंट्रोडक्शन. ये लाइन. Okay, the next phylum is Ascalmantis. So why Ascalmantis is important? It is the only phylum which show false coelom, false body cavity, which is known as pseudocoelom. So you will see pseudocoelom only in Ascalmantis, but Annelida onwards you can see true coelomate. So be careful whenever you study Ascalmantis, also known as nematoda. Please check the examples for this. So the important part in Ascalmantis is the typical structure of Ascaris, correct? Male and female Ascaris. What is the difference between male and female Ascaris? Male Ascaris is short, correct? And have curved tail. Female is long and with a straight tail. So Ascalmantis is also known as a roundworm due to their cross section, CS. So you'll get a round circular structure. If you discuss about their habit and habitat, so they are free living aquatic terrestrial. The important one is parasitic in plants and animals. So such parasitic organism or animal which can infect plants and animals both can only be seen firstly in Ascalmanthus. If you can see Platyhelminthes, here they have mentioned they are endoparasite found in animals including human beings. They have not mentioned about plants. So be careful. In case of Ascalmanthus, they have mentioned they are parasitic in plants and animals. Now, from Ascalmanthus onwards, you can see organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic. Most important character you know, that is pseudocoelomate. So their alimentary canal is complete with the well developed. They have muscular pharynx. Also known as nematoda or nemathelminthus. So they may be free living, aquatic, and terrestrial. or parasitic in plants and animals. Next, their level of organization is level of organization in Ascomanthuses, germ layer, triploblastic germ layer हुआ level of organization का. Organ system ना, organ system level of organization. Coelom, pseudocoelomate. What about body plan? It is tube within tube body plan, right? What is tube within tube body plan? Mouth and anus both are at the opposite direction. So here is the opening for mouth, and at the posterior end opening is for anus. Done. Next. Symmetry is bilateral. What about germ layer? They are truly triploblastic. There is a presence of 3 germinal layer. Outermost is ectoderm, then mesoderm, and then endoderm. Clear? What about segmentation and notochord? Segmentation absent, right? Notochord absent. If we talk about physiology, digestive system is complete, right? They have which type of pharynx? Muscular pharynx. Respiration is through general body surface. Circulation absent. Next. Excretion is through which cell? Renate cell. Flame cells are present in platyhelminthes, which is also known as protonephridia, which marks the formation of typical cells or formation of excretory system. Coming towards Ascalmanthus, you can see in different types of cell are present. They are also a specialized cell involved in excretion known as rennet cell. The next point is nervous system. So the nervous system is double ventral solid nerve cord. What about reproduction? So reproduction, they are unisexual, correct? Sexes are separate, so they are unisexual. If they are unisexual, so they will show sexual reproduction. Fertilization is internal. And development is direct and indirect. Okay, what is the difference between male and female ascaris? I'm talking about roundworm. Figure number 4.1.
Female
Is
will
it?
be long and the male will be short.
Long and
Short.
uh, long and curve in case of male, right? No? And
I remember this only. Male will be shorter
long
and
and
female.
straight in case of female, small and curved in case of male. Correct?
But in the
These statements.
textbook, they have mentioned like male and females are distinct. Often females are long and then male. They have mentioned that only. They didn't mention anything.
See, female are longer than male. Can you see the textbook? I have shared you.
Yeah, yeah. Only they mentioned the length. They didn't mention anything like
So if females are longer, then male
huh,
are shorter.
shorter.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if male is having curved posterior tail, so female have straight tail. Is it clear?
But did he mention in the textbook?
The same textbook you're having, right?
Yes.
Do you have this statement in your book?
Which statement?
This one. Often females are longer than male.
Yeah, that only one thing I have. But you said it is like the male is having curve. You said right, but that curve they didn't mention. I'm
Oh,
asking that.
it's mentioned in the references. That's why. That
Okay.
male is having curved
That's what I
posterior
was
tail.
asking.
Yeah, that's mentioned in the Truman's reference. So you have to note it down. So you can write
Okay.
here near the diagram. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Male ascaris, female ascaris. Examples of ascalmanthus are. So you are familiar with which area which causes filariasis? Elephantic. What is elephantiasis?
The legs will be become like
Yeah.
so vast,
Legs
thick.
or limbs will be swollen, right?
Yes.
So you have to remember example mentioned in your textbook. So there are, I think, three or four examples. Yeah, they have mentioned here ascaris, which is known as roundworm. Another one is Rusteria, which is also known as filarial worm, and disease is known as filariasis. And the hookworm. Then,
Yes, ma.
so already you have notes or you're making the short notes.
I already have the notes. I already
Okay.
made the notes.
For Kingdom Animalia.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark this one in Ascalmentus. The young ones resemble the adult. Next, Annelida. So they are aquatic, marine, and freshwater. They are terrestrial. They are free living. Sometimes they have mentioned parasitic. First endoparasitic animal belong to which phylum?
Can
First
you repeat the question again?
endoparasitic. It is Platyhelminthes. Animal which can infect plant and animals both.
Arthropoda.
No, no. Phylum Ascalmentus. Parasitic
Both
in plants and animals.
plants and animals. How can they eat animals?
So Ascalmentus have different categories, right? Have you seen Ascalmentus?
Yeah,
I think so you might be know only about Ascaris and Uscheria.
I only saw Ascaris.
Sorry?
I only saw the round one, round worm.
Okay. Just a second, I'll show you the diagram for that. Sorry. So these are roundworms. Hope you can see you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, which one you have not seen?
Other two, hookworms and other two.
No, these belongs to Annelida. As you can see, metamerism in them, right? Do you know hookworm?
I heard it, but I never saw it.
Okay. Hookworm lives in intestine. If you can see a diagram, I don't know. Screen share is there. हाँ आज पाइडे है Take the screenshot. Hookworm is there. So they damage the intestine firstly. Small intestine.
So they will have digestion issues. The food will not
Yeah,
digest.
mainly they damage the intestine.
But in the pictures they are showing they are in the leg part, right, ma'am? It still
Sorry, I
stands
can't
and it will go from. Ma'am, can you hear me?
hear. Now, your
So in the
voice is so
pictures
low.
they are showing like it is in the leg, right? In the many pictures
Yeah,
they are
it
showing the
spreads.
hook.
Can you see here? It's like July, if you can see.
Yeah, so it is in the leg and from the leg it is going to intestine. Or it is spreading the
No, it enters in the intestine and then it spread with the help of circulatory system to different parts. See
okay.
you. Okay.
Huh. Understood.
Firstly, damage the
Hmm.
small intestine. Then only it can circulate to different parts of the body.
It gets
Okay,
fruit from
let's continue.
food from our body. What we are taking up, it will take from that.
Yes,
And
that's why they have suckers, hookers
and it is
to
and
attach.
the food will be not for us. Well, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and we will not get the food. They will get the
Yes.
all the food which we are taking up, which we are consuming.
Yes, that is ascaris. In that case, it is ascaris. Doctor gave then dewormis to us. The
Okay.
symptom is of ascaris, what you are discussing.
So hookworm and ascaris is both are not same. Like
Like
the
both are
symptoms.
different.
The symptoms.
Symptom are different, site of action is different, and sample collection is also different.
How
You
hookworm?
cannot
You said
collect
it
the
will.
sample of, see, in case of
Huh.
ascariasis,
Huh.
so the sample are collected from the stool samples.
Okay.
How many number of alive or dead or immatured developed eggs or worms are observed,
Okay.
right? So from that they decide at what part or at what rate they do an infection
Had
at that particular site, mainly to the small intestine.
okay.
But this hookworm travel with the help of blood vessels.
They travel throughout our body and reach our small intestine and they take up
Yes.
food from the small intestine.
So their primary site of action is small intestine
Small intestine.
because they
And we
penetrate
can
the villi and
diagnose
they enter
this.
into that.
We can found this whether we are having hookworm or not from the
Yes.
blood.
After their multiplication, if they are circulated. But in case of ascaris, you cannot find it out without stool
Yeah.
sample.
So we are doing it as tools for that. And here for hookworm, we are taking up blood samples since
Yes.
they are traveling from the blood. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
But both are taking a food from the small intestine. That is
Yeah.
common.
Their main site of action, mainly whatever the endoparasite are there, mainly their site of action is intestine. Blood feeding, what we say. Because in the simple form, they'll get a food. They do not require digestive system, right? For this.
Yes. If you want to remove the small this roundworm or hookworm from our body, what
Yeah.
will the doctor will do?
No, they will give you medicines for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So
Okay, ma'am.
ascaris is very common.
It enters to our body from the unclean surface. If we are not wearing proper shoes or slippers, then it will enter our body from our legs.
Yeah, means ascaris is what I want to discuss with you is ascaris can enter in any age, infant, adult, children, in any age, because it is through infected food and water, right?
Okay.
Do you know ascaris?
Yeah, I know.
I think so. It's there in your syllabus, human health and disease,
Yes, it is there.
in 12th class.
Yes, it is there.
So there you can see incubation period, sign, symptom, and prevention. So they have
Okay, ma'am.
mentioned over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll discuss
Okay.
that part next month when we start 12th
Okay.
syllabus. Okay. Let's continue.
Okay.
So, Annalida, as you already know, protonephridia are present in platyhelminthes and nephridia are present in what is the difference between protonephridia and nephridia? Protonephridia means flame cell, typically present in
Practical answers.
platyhelminthes, right? You have mentioned there
Yes.
platyhelminthes.
Yes.
Please take your notes. And in case of Annelida, excretion is through nephridia, which helps in osmoregulation and excretion they have mentioned here.
Yes, ma'am.
So please be very clear. Nereis, they have lateral appendages. So it is aquatic in nature. That's why typical structure for locomotion that is known as parapodia. Otherwise, you already know about earthworm that they have two different type of muscle, longitudinal and circular muscles, which help in locomotion. Annelida shows true metamerism, externally and internally. So what is the meaning of annelida? Annulus. Please mark this point and highlight it.
Yes, ma'am.
The next one. Nereis is an aquatic form and it is dioecious. What about earthworm? Earthworm and leeches are monoecious. Means they are bisexual in nature. Reproduction, strictly sexual. You have to remember about Nereis, earthworm and leeches. Nereis aquatic and dioecious in nature. Earthworm and leeches are monoecious in nature. Let's continue. Okay, give a heading. Annelida. So it's annulus. What is the meaning of annulus? Ring-like structure. Coming towards the characteristics. Okay. Annelida are both freshwater and marine. They are terrestrial, free living, and sometimes they are parasitic. If they are sometimes parasitic, so they are endoparasitic, correct? Leech. Clear? Next, level of organization. So they show organ system level of organization. The next is germ layer. They are triploblastic. What about coelom? लाइबा अनिलिडा का क्या है सिलोम यू सिलोमेट है ट्रू सिलोमेट है सुडो सिलोमेट है कुछ दिया है क्या लाइबा सिमेट्री बायलैटरल सेगमेंटेशन
Bilateral.
मेट्रिक राइट externally and internally similar notochord present or absent
Absent.
yes notochord absent dissection So their digestive system is complete. Which type of digestion? Intracellular or extracellular? Extra.
Intracellular.
Extracellular digestion. Respiration. An important point for respiration is primarily through moist skin. Typical example for it, earthworm. So they have specialized gills, paired projections known as parapodia, but parapodia are present in Nereis. Correct? Circulation. So in last lecture we discussed. So in last lecture we discussed open and closed circulation. Anthe means it shows open circulation. Correct? Or closed? Open circulation. A stands for, what is the full form of anthe? A stands for arthropoda. N stand for non-cephalopods, a category of mollusca. T stands for tunicates, which is also known as urochordata. H stands for hemichordata. And E stands for echinodermata. Open circulation or closed? It is for open circulation. Circulation in Annelida, usually closed type. Correct?
Done, ma'am. Uh,
The circulation close type. What is the role of chloragogen cells? Chloragogen cells are analogous to the liver of vertebrates. They help in excretion. Starma can note down this point. Next, nervous system. Double ventral nerve cord. So for locomotion, they are mentioned in book presence of circular and longitudinal muscles. Correct? But in case of parapodia, it is present in aquatic forms. For example, it is nereis. What about reproduction? So unisexual example is nereis. Correct? Yes, nereis an aquatic form is dioecious, means unisexual. An example for bisexual is earthworm. So they show sexual reproduction. Fertilization. Internal and external. Development. Development. Direct or indirect. So indirect in case of nereis. What are the examples of annelida? Examples of Annelida, offline and online streams. Earthworm, again. सिर्फ earthworm ही है क्या? हाँ. Earthworm, Nereis, then Hirudinaria, blood-sucking leech. Exoparasite ना, means ectoparasite, endo नहीं है ना. Hirudinaria लिख के रखना, it is an ectoparasite. स्किन को जाके अटैच होगा सरफेस पे. Ectoparasite, Hirudinaria. Next, Arthropoda, largest phylum Arthropoda, second largest mollusca, correct? 2/3 of all named species on Earth are arthropodas. So they have organ system level of organization. Symmetry is bilateral. They are triploblastic in nature, right? Correct. Segmented coelomate animals. What do you mean by segmented? They show segmentation, means metamerism. Correct. Incomplete. Body is covered by chitin. What is chitin? N-acetylglucosamine, NAG, NAG. Exoskeleton. Body is divided into three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. So they have jointed appendages. So here they have mentioned that respiration is through different structure like gills, book lungs, or tracheal system. So gills are present in prawn, right? Book gills are present in limulus. Book lungs are present in spider and scorpion, and trachea are present in cockroach. For sensory organ, they have a typical structure known as antenna. Eye, they have mentioned compound or simple eye. What is statocyst? Balancing organ. Excretion takes place through Malpighian tube. Mostly they are dioecious. Fertilization is internal. Mostly oviparous. Development may be direct or indirect. So please do remember, apis, honey bee, economically important. Bombyx mori, pure quality of silk. Lacifer, lac insect. So hope you know Lacifer is economically important for production of lac bangles. Vector, you know, female Anopheles mosquito, which is a carrier of Plasmodium, which causes malaria. Culex mosquito is for dengue. And Aedes for Aedes aegypti. Yes, Culex elephantasis. Aedes aegypti is for dengue. Culex is carrier for filarial. Please note down, Limulus is also known as king crab or living fossil. Rahina, have you marked all the points? Please mention here king crab living fossil. Done? रहना any doubt confusion offline online student offline को तो कभी doubt नहीं होते तो sorry रहना no doubt no confusion okay let's end the lecture thank you